The people that actually rely on the business help people to walk through. My belief is that it is a journey. A few weeks ago, I had a terrific conversation with a wonderful, wonderful advisor out of Texas. She had her degree as a counselor and was doing transition work with families, just helping them with the personal side of things, helping them to understand each other and helping them to keep great relationships. So anyway, she told me this story that it's resonated enough with me that I just wanted to share it with everybody, share it with you. It was a story about a father and a son. So the father came to the advisor and said to her that his son had been working in the business for 10 years and that that the son was not ready, that the son really, he was unsure if this was going to be a good thing or not a good thing. And so he was looking for some guidance and some, just an evaluation. And I think it's great to have the evaluation and to have outside perspectives. This particular person had not done anything for the 10 years. He had not gotten advisors together, and he really hadn't engaged with his son. The curriculum was, hey, why don't you come in, learn about the business, someday hopefully you'll take it over. And that is exactly how they had worked for the 10-year period. And what she said to me was, she said, you know what, my response to him was, shame on you. And that's what resonated with me over the last few weeks, is just talking about the responsibility that a transitioner has. The responsibility is huge, to be able to not only identify a potential successor or potential successors, but also to communicate a strategy to them so that they actually know what they're supposed to do in order to create their own opportunity to be the owner, to be that successor. I can't tell you how many times and how frustrated sometimes I get when I find an opportunity that is so amazing, right? So amazing. The successor is awesome and wonderful. The transitioner has best of intent and wants the best for the successor, whether it's their child or employee or not. And they come into it though with just no strategy whatsoever. So it's kind of like, oh, again, you know, come on in, you can learn the business and everything will be okay. The learning curve for the successor is so high that it's like being in university. It's like being in a college, and you've got a variety of classes that you have to master. Then you have to get a good grade, because if you don't, the owner is not going to trust you, not going to believe that you're going to be able to do it. And so you've got to get a quote-unquote good grade. You've got to do a good job. And you have to figure out how to run this company from all different aspects. So leadership and financial aspect and, gosh, banking and all of the pieces that go into it, not to mention the actual industry and what the business, how the business functions and all of those things. The successor has to know, from the owner's perspective, what do you look at to know that the business is running well? What do you look at to know when the business is really not running well, and hopefully well before it's failing, well before, so that you can catch those things early? And what do you do in those events and in those cases? Why do you get a sense of urgency when others don't around you? And also, how do you identify opportunities in the market, opportunities that others don't see? So there are a lot of nuances that go into being the successor. And I wanted to just impress upon you the weight of what it takes from a transitioner's standpoint to actually help a successor come through and be successful in their own right without you. It is a job. So couple of ideas, couple of thoughts for you is think about what you want them to do and what you need them to know. Sometimes you don't even know how you run the business. So it takes a lot of thought and a lot of introspection to understand why you react the way you do when you do. So think about what you want your successor to know. Think about what you need them to know, what they must know. And then potentially work on a strategy. You know, I like to think in timelines because this is a curriculum. It could take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And again, I've said it before, I think the reason why businesses fail, so many of them in the transitions, and the statistics are so low, is because the owner leaves too soon. The transitioner leaves too soon without transitioning the knowledge and the intuition and all of the things that are required for that business to do well. So think about what you want them to know. Think about what they need to know. Think about how you are going to build out a strategy or a timeline or a curriculum or something that says in year 1, this is what you need to know. This is what you're going to take over from me. These are the things, or somebody else. And these are the things that are important. And then in year 2, what are my expectations of you? And maybe there's a year 3, and there could even be a year 4 or 5, depending on how long you want to stay in the business and whether you continue to be CEO for a long period of time, so your successor can be an apprentice for a while, or if you decide that you're going to move to chairman of the board fairly soon, year 2 or 3, or maybe you're so tired that you're just ready to go and you're like, oh man, I just want to be out of here in 2 or 3 years. We've got a lot of work to do. So think about that timeline. Think about some kind of a curriculum. Think of some kind of a strategy. Put it on paper. Have a conversation with that successor. Help them to understand what they need to do and actually invite them. Instead of telling them, hey, someday you're going to own and inherit this business or run the business, maybe invite them. Do you want to learn how to do this? Is this important to you? Why is it important to you? What difference does it make in your life? What kind of a commitment are you going to put forward? Because this road is not the easiest road. Being the entrepreneur, getting from successor to owner, big road. Maintaining ownership and keeping a company healthy for many, many years to come, even bigger deal. So ask, invite, conversations. You'll find that you'll learn a lot and the road will be so much smoother. You'll have so much more fun. And some of that anxiety and doubt about whether or not the person's the right one, you know, if they're not the right one, why spend 10 years trying to figure that out? If they're not the right one, we all know people who just aren't built for a particular role or a particular job. Even if you'd love for them to be that, they aren't. And even if they would love to be that, they're not. Doesn't mean there isn't a place or a role or something that might benefit and be of value to them. And I'll tell you, one of the, I think, terrible things is to, one, lead somebody on with hope that they're going to get better without communication on why or what they're doing. And then the second one is to put somebody in and expect them to do a job that it's just not in their heart, not in their soul to do it. That makes for a pretty rough life and sometimes a lot of unhappiness. So, shame on you if you aren't taking the steps as a transitioner to help your successor. Shame on you if you're a successor trying to get your transitioner to help you. Maybe a time to sit down and say, hey, let's figure this out. I really want this. This is important to me as a successor, and I want to make sure it goes well. There's a lot of goodness in working together and a lot of fun. We have so many new programs that are coming out at the Transition Strategists that I am so excited about. They are built just to help you to dip your toe into some of this stuff. We've got a wonderful metamorphosis workshop that we're producing every month now, and the people that have come through it have had great value. It's 90 minutes. We discuss 5 different areas that owners owners go through a metamorphosis, and so do the successors. So we look at the owners and beyond, then we look at the successors and what they're doing to come in. It is so informational. Those 5 areas include things like power, relationships, role and character, vision, just a variety of different things. And it's all peer learning oriented. So you're talking to other entrepreneurial people that are going through the same thing. We have that coming out and that we're doing. We've got a workshop. It's called our master class. It's a 3-day master class where you and your successor, or you and your spouse, or you and a partner can come in, and you come in for 3 days to our facility in Fort Collins, Colorado. It's stunning, the facility. It's very rustic in a way, but it's also beautiful. You can see the entire Front Range. It's a great place to do some of this thinking. And again, peer learning oriented, where you have a small number of business owners and successors potentially in a class that's guided by one of our top transition guides with one of our top project coordinators alongside her. It is just spectacular. You'll be able to get tools, and when you walk in, you'll have some homework done. When you walk out, you will have a complete strategy that is electronic, that you'll be able to share and work on for the rest of your life if you'd like to. It's I'm so excited about it, because what my goal is to put the tools in your hands, not in our hands. As a consultant, we end up with the tools in our hands, and we are shifting that completely where the tools are in your hands. So the master class allows you to gain the skills and also do the work so that you have your strategy in your hands to move forward. So I hope you'll join us. Bottom line, I just think it's so important to take steps. You don't have to take the big step to transition today, but I think it's very important for you to take small steps in preparation, because the decisions you make today really reflect on how well you'll be able to transition in your future.